For the
Hey, I'm
entire.
like, where's my camera? Why do I see my double chins? I don't
Ugh,
know.
that angle is always just one of those where you're like, huh. Or do you ever like
Like,
try to take a picture of something else and then it's like you and you're like, ah, Jesus Christ, jump scare.
fuck being 40. It sucks.
Hey, listen, I still get double chin things like now where I'm like, what is happening to me? And you're just like, that's it. I'm done. I can't go on like this.
Like, I
Okay.
expect to have double chins because I don't put any effort into not having them, but
I
it's
mean,
still.
same. You're like, listen, it's not that I don't care. It's
You
that
play
I
dumb games, you
just
get dumb prizes.
and
All right, here we
like
go.
honestly, my list is long. Like I can't be expected to do everything and that, that's just where we have to draw the line. So
I really
it is
hate
what it
this.
is.
Hold on. Maybe I could
All
do one
right.
of
Well,
these.
today we're gonna yap about some business mindset things. I have talked to a few people over the last couple weeks, and especially just being September and teaching all of September, right? So many classes, so many airplanes, all of the things and stuff. But talked to a lot of people, and it seems like over and over there's a reoccurring theme of really just not being able to kind of get in the pocket with hair loss specialty and just being like,
Hmm.
what is like, it's this thought that everybody's like, what am I doing wrong? And I don't think anybody's doing anything wrong necessarily, because it's great when we take all this education, we have all these things at our fingertips, but then you're like, I have, a handful of guests, and you're like, how can I find that pocket? How can I do the thing? And I think a lot of it is with our marketing and our mindset around taking on these guests. So for me personally, when I got into hair loss, and granted this was a long time ago, but it was really hard to make that shift into finding like how I can communicate and it actually stick. Especially when you don't have a lot of clients to like show results, right? Like I feel like that's what we think that people want to see. Or clients are constantly messaging us like, yeah, can you show me what this or that looks like? And you're like, kind of. So it's hard
Right.
to market to certain things when you don't necessarily have the experience. So that was kind of the pocket that I was in when I was getting started, and it was really hard to like draw on experience that I didn't have, right? So what I found worked for me was speaking from a place of honesty. Speaking from a place of, I don't necessarily have a lot of clients right now, but I'm working towards it. And what I do have is this solid foundation of knowledge about hair loss itself, which is why, like, in all of our education, that is like the top thing for me and what I really just hone in on and like, because I really believe that when you have like a solid foundation of how hair loss happens, what causes what, and like what's really like functioning behind the scenes, it makes the solution so much easier to come to on your own. So you can start like seeing people and just immediately being like, oh, they'd be a great fit for X, Y, and Z, as opposed to just being like that immediate overwhelm kind of sitting on you and just being like, I don't know what I would do for you. So it just kind of takes that like sweat out, I think. But I was just really honest in that regard of just being like, hey, I haven't really done that, but if you're willing, I would love to. So I think the other section of this that we have, spoke on a little bit before is like the confidence side of things and the preventing burnout, because it is a really emotional industry. And what I hear a lot of people doing is like taking on a couple clients and either their solutions aren't like super confident. Um, in a lot of cases, I find that somebody has like one or two bad experiences, like the stylist had a couple bad experiences, and then immediately they're like, I don't want to deal with these guests anymore. And I've heard that story a lot over the past month, where, there's like one really picky guest or one just like really hard client, and all of a sudden it just kills your confidence. So I just want to like kind of solidify that confidence doesn't come from perfection. Confidence comes from reps, right? So if you're not doing a whole lot of reps, it's okay not to be confident, but you don't have to let that like actually shit on you. You don't have to let that get in your way to take on the next guest. You don't have to be like, well, I didn't do that perfectly, so now I'm shit. This is shit and everything's a bad idea. Like and it's a natural snowball hill to get down, right? Like we do that just as humans. We get in this like, oh, kind of mindset, but that's not what it has to be. So that along with this like people pleasing tendency that stylists just naturally have because we're people and we want to make everybody happy and we want to give them the hair of their dreams. And sometimes it's just not. And that's okay. So being able to shift and redirect and tell that client like up front, like, hey, if this isn't exactly the perfect fit for you, guess what? We're gonna jig and adjust. Like me as your person here is gonna be able to kind of like steer you in a direction that is. So, and if you have any questions at any point in time, feel free to like pipe in or whatever. But um, I just really feel like that is a huge thing that I have struggled with, and a lot of my students seem to struggle with too, is like feeling like you have to have it perfect on that first initial thing. That like if you don't get the cut right, or the hairline isn't just right, or something like that, like immediately we fall back into that snowball, and we kind of almost let that client dictate our self worth. And it's not necessarily that that client is a bad client, or that they're purposely trying to do that to us. I don't necessarily think that's the case. Sometimes I think hurt people hurt people.
Mhm.
And I think sometimes people that are really in a position of struggle and are just really desperate for answers paint a picture in their head that this is going to be the solution for all their life's problems. And it's up to us as the stylist and as like the authority in that role to say like, hey, I don't know that this is going to be the perfect fit for you. And that's okay. I'm 99% sure, but my literal whole job is to like make really educated guesses. And my educated guess is that you're going to love this. Just like my educated guess is that your color is going to come out beautiful, but I don't have a crystal ball. So if for some reason there is something that we need to shift or adjust, again, you come back into that conversation of cool, it's an open door. And just making sure that our clients really understand that like this is a conversation. And I want I make sure that all of my clients understand in the consultation that like, hey, if there's anything that you don't love, like absolutely reach out. Like absolutely let me know. Everything is tweakable, whether it be like your money piece is too much or not enough, or little things like that. To like, hey, this length is just fucking weird. Okay, cool. So I think transparency comes in with a lot of this too, and just letting everybody know like the things that could potentially need adjusted or could potentially not go right. But yeah, I'm a big fan of transparency in these entire situations too, especially the more issues that could arise, the harder a guest will be to work with, the harder their hair loss situation. Like anytime this like challenge graph goes up, that's more information that I give. So if something's going to be like a cut and dry kind of thing, probably not a whole bunch is going to need to be spoken of, like home care, general maintenance, things like that, where you're like, all right, you got it. You're going to do great. But the more difficult it is, the more I'm gonna share, the more I'm gonna write down, the more I'm going to potentially even send that guest, like, detailed notes after our chat, our consultation, record that conversation, so that they can rehearse back to it. Anything like that that gives them a really clear outlook of what that's gonna be. Also being able to have really solid boundaries in our business. I know I struggle with boundaries a lot sometimes. And our it's just one of those where, again, you wanna help people and you wanna just, like, get to things when they're there, um, especially
I
when
feel
somebody's
like
had
2019 clients and 2020, even 2021, maybe even 2022, something happened like between like as I was getting into hair loss and like I was like, you know what, my extension clients are being like weird, like wanting money back on credit card, like stuff that I had never in my life. I'm like, what the hell do these hair loss clients do? They're waiting 6 months for a hairpiece. They're like, God forbid the hairline's off. Like, I'm just imagining, I'm like, I'm going to be homeless doing hair loss solutions.
you're like, "I'm sweaty."
I'm like, I serve good. I just my salon's on the corner now. Like,
Right? And you're like
it's defeating, but like you gotta get rid of the noise and trust in the process and do it scared and know that that one person that you can be that lifesaver for is all worth it. and I'm
Yes.
sure the profit will come. It's not about the profit, but again, it is about the profit because that's what leverages your like your sense of like, not just confidence, but your sense of I can still be in business next month.
Yeah, exactly. And let's just touch on that for a second too, because like I think in a profession where it is heavily emotion driven, hair loss is one of those things that there's a lot of emotion, not just with the client, but with us, right? Like we're really emotionally connected to these guests. But at the end of the day, we run a business. At the end of the day, we have to keep our doors open. At the end of the day, we have to make it make sense. And those two things can be true at once, right? Like it can be a really emotional process and a really like spiritual kind of experience for you and your guest. However, if it doesn't give you an ROI or like improve things, what the fuck are you doing it for? Right? Like you're just volunteering your time at a certain point. So that's really huge too. And I've talked to so many people who like literally just like their pricing or like the way that they have everything structured, it's just almost impossible for them to make a profit. And you're like, ooh, because at that point it's one of those that like you create these beautiful things for these clients and you watch them leave and they're basically skipping out your door. And then you balance your books at the end of a week or, at the end of a month or however frequent you do that. And you're like, I made $800 this month. I love that for me. And you're like, cool. Now I'm gonna pay my rent and I have $3 left.
You're right.
And you're like, fuck. So it's one of those like, okay, but really, like when you look down and do everything and really like work everything out, like, is it worth it? And being able to really figure out like, okay, what can I jig? What can I adjust? What can I start like building into services that can make it worth it, that can grow my ticket number, that can make this actually make sense? So that could be little things like just doing scalp analysis. I have a trichoscope in my salon and I'm obsessed with it. One, because I'm a nerd, and two, because like I just love up close things. I just it's really fascinating. But we do little scalp analysis kind of things. Now that's something I include, but you could absolutely charge for that. It could be a quick little like scalp facial at the shampoo bowl. We do a scalp analysis, and that could be like a quarterly recommendation to just monitor hair loss. Quick ticket upsell. It could be if you're not like a package kind of thing where everything's included, these like little ticket upsells are really great. You could do clip-in toppers are a great thing to integrate into your business. That's something fast turnaround. And that could just be like you facilitate fitting them. They could order it themselves, and all you do is custom color it and customize it. I use Uniwigs for that kind of a turnaround. If someone wants like a quick turnaround, doesn't have time for me to custom order them a piece. And like how many clients do, right? Like most hair loss clients that I talk to don't want solutions in 6 to 9 months. They want solutions 6 to 9 months ago, right? So when they have to wait, it's like, okay, fine, like they will. But if they could order something and it be in next week, how fucking cool is that? So um I have a, like, partnership through Uniwigs. You don't necessarily have to do that. They'll sell to anybody. Their quality is fantastic, and it really is very affordable for the client. So if I have something like that where somebody wants a fast turnaround, and is needing something fast, cool, great. Here's this website. I recommend X, Y, or Z pieces. Go ahead and check that out as long as it's X, Y, or Z pieces. Bring it into me. I'll custom color it and custom fit it so that it works for you and you can be on your way. That
Mm.
has basically 0, like, cost. Like, the most expensive thing they've already
Yeah.
covered, right? Like, it's a quick turnaround and easy ticket that you can do. They come in with the piece and you're like, "Lovely, love that," right? As long as it still has a tag on it, like, I make sure it is what they say it is, that it's not like, "Yeah, I got it from there, and it's fucking Amazon."
Right.
Fucking some
There.
yak hair that I'm about to fuck my shears up on, like, we ain't doing none of that. And I'm even like, "Hey, you know what? If you can have it delivered to my salon, here's my address. That way I know where it comes from, right? Just go ahead and have it delivered to my salon. I'll go ahead and customize your color and we'll just like set a pickup date. I have them come in for a fitting where I take pictures of their hair. We recommend like what piece for them to get. Like I literally just send them links. I'm like, here you go. And then it ships to my salon. I customize it. I'm like, hey, your piece is ready for pickup. They come in, we cut it, done. $1,000 in my pocket. You know? Like, so these little things are ways that we can make it make sense for us. It doesn't have to be hard. And that's another thing that I have come across time and time again in this last month, talking with all of the students that we talked about. So many people are like, I just feel like this specialty is so fucking complicated. And I'm like, girl, I hear you. I agree. Because it is, there's so many little details that you have to line up. But honestly, like, there's just so many hacks that it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be a long drawn out process. It doesn't have to be something that you kind of want to like bang your head up against a fucking wall about. Um, and I want to help you guys facilitate that in any way, shape, or form that I can. So if there is something that you see, boom, leave it alone. If there is something that you guys seem to be struggling with or just really like just can't necessarily pinpoint, please always let me know that. Like, shoot me a DM on Instagram, on here, drop it in the feed, like whatever. We can dive deep on it because there's probably a way around or a workaround or a quicker fix that we could help not necessarily negate the other thing, because I love having a lot of tools in my toolbox.
Yeah.
I feel like big name brands are always one of those like, this is the only way to do things. No, it's not. And I mean, Barbie, you and I were educated that way for lots of fucking years. And, you know, it's just been in the last like 3 or 4 that I've gotten out of that where it's like, oh, actually, there's like hundreds of ways to do things. It's okay if we mix and match. So, like, that's the same thing here, you know, like tools in your toolbox and just having that available for when you need it, but like defaulting to the easiest method possible is okay.
I
Like,
think
I know.
that's where it's I don't mind spending money and taking the classes. You know that. But
Yeah.
it's the little in between, like you've got the educators who have done years and have the clients, leveraging, they have the students paying, and you have income, and then it's like the students, and we're like, all right, let me do this. And I'm like, how do I market it? How do I get that
Yeah.
case study? And you're like, I get that case study, but how do I profit? And then it's like you're base the profit, but you still got to get that client to trust you, and you still don't want to fuck it up. And it's like, yeah, just you giving that clip in option, because like you said, you're talking to these clients and re-talking to them because it can take 6 months for a custom piece. And then with tariffs coming arise, like what, you know what I mean? And that's the other thing. I'm like, oh my God, all these tariffs. So some of the stylists on some of my pages are getting a 51% tariff cost that you didn't quote your client on. I mean, it's just
Yep. And what are you supposed to do? Like, are you supposed to eat that? Are they eating that? Who's eating that? You know? And that changes every fucking day.
the write-off
So,
people are eating that, I guess.
by the way, my accountant loves when I say that. I'm always like,
I know.
so is that for the write-off people? And she's like, no, like, I think you're the write-off people. So
Right.
love you.
I just
No,
got my
please,
tax.
please
I just
ask
got my
me.
P&L, and I'm like, oh God. I was like, if I started doing that and had those costs within, I'd have no profit, like at all.
Right, exactly. So, and that's the thing too, like how are you supposed to build those things into your packages, right? And then how do you does that feel fair? You know, but then also it's like, but if I don't, I'm fucked. But if I do, it changes all the time. So then I have to add this exorbitant price tag, or do I just say, oh yeah, and I'll send you the bill for the fucking tariffs? Like, what the fuck? You know? So it's like, and then you go right back to this default of like, you know what? Never mind. And it just like ick and you abandon it, right? So like that's the thing too that like and it's hard for me because I do have a warehouse in Houston, so it makes it so much easier to get product and to get my things and all that. But we have to get it from overseas to start with, you know? So thankfully we're able to like buy in bulk and ship it to Houston, just like have it parked there. But I empathize so much with all of my students that are like, oh yeah, I get closures from the UK or like I have to order these things from wherever overseas. And then piece by piece, you're like, and
And
it's so
God
hard to
forbid they
work.
show up and it's not because there's just so
Exactly.
much, like, so much. And then you're like, your client's like, so I have to wait 12 months to get this piece. And then
You're like, I don't know where it's at.
that to
I
me just
actually,
sounds like an absolute nightmare and like not worth it at all for anybody.
yes.
Um,
So that's half the reason why I love like the sourcing of just the methods that we do, but also, again, having that warehouse in Houston, it just makes things easier and attainable.
I haven't been on
So,
your site in a while for Runa. Is it Runa?
yeah,
Yeah. Do you sell closures on your site? Okay. Yeah, I haven't been
yep,
on
we
there a
have 4
hot
by
minute because it,
oh, you're
yeah.
good. We have 4x4 closures currently. We're working on having 6x6s that are going to be there too. So we're testing and tweaking the final little things on those. And then we also have a second fishnet style piece. I was like, hold on.
Right.
That's coming
Like
in
micro
the next.
lines.
Yes,
Okay.
but the edge is totally different.
Oh.
So the fit like the base is similar, but the like the interior, instead of being that like fucking plasticky ass shit, that's on like a tight piece for microlines, ours is silk.
Okay.
So it actually looks like a scalp. It won't take color, like the plastic pieces do. I feel like they always come in fucking brown anyway, where you're like, who has a brown scalp? I'd love to know.
Yeah.
Who did this to you? But they you color them basically in that section like you would a frontal, like a lace. And they're gorgeous. So it's able to get that like natural hairline and natural part line. You can do microlines with them. Like if you have that in your repertoire, you can thread a bonding ring through it.
Okay.
So that was one thing that I definitely wanted to be sure of too, that they're interchangeable. And then my method is a beaded in method. So they work for both of those.
Yeah.
Um, and again,
When is that going to be uploaded on to C&D? Is it, I don't know, she
it's
mentioned
not through
something.
C&D. So my method is through
Gotcha.
me and C&D is through her. So we're doing like a little like kind of teaser link it video. But I
Yeah,
won't have my
that's
method
fine.
through there. But yeah, well, we have all of that.
I think I'd rather just shadow you. I was like, I feel like I want to,
Girl,
I'm doing that now.
yes.
I'm going down to Georgia to my girlfriend I met, not met, but through Evolve.
Yeah.
And she's taken pretty much the same classes as me, and she's really doing well. And I
Awesome.
was like, she's like, come on, Barbie, come on down, stay at my house, like
Yeah.
this. And she showed me like her two clients. She like I'm going down in like 2 weeks, and then I'm going down in November, and I'm just gonna shadow. I'm just gonna like feel her doing it, but like literally have a human being and see what's going on and how it's going down and just be. And I
Yes.
feel like I'll be able to get some videos and like just I don't know. I feel like I need some hands-on in that type of environment. Um, because my salon space, it's just me. And it's like,
Yeah. You're
so I'm
like,
like, I'm like trying to reach out to some girl, like the girl in Annapolis that's near me. I'm like, can I come hang out and assist you one day when and it's like, I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know what it
Uh,
is, but
Fun fact, we are going to be doing a class in probably Connecticut. We're still trying to lock down a host salon, but girl, I'm gonna get out in the East Coast if it's the last thing I fucking do.
have you
So,
tried, what's her name? Oh, God. She has that big salon in Connecticut. It's like booth rental. It's like
okay,
10,000 square foot.
might be this one because it's a big ass salon.
Well,
I
I
think it
forget
starts
her
with an
name. She's real popular, but like Gina something. Gina,
have
damn.
to see.
I don't have
I'll
my phone
message you
on
after
me.
this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Be like, this is her.
We took the
Because like
train
you're
up and took a class up there, and it was nice.
okay,
She had a yoga salon in there. It was humongous.
awesome.
Can't think of the
Yeah.
name.
Um, this girl that we've been talking to is super sweet. Love her. But you're not alone. Like so many people literally are just like, I just
And Ohio's not far from, you're in Ohio, right?
yeah.
Yeah, not Utah. I always get Utah and Ohio mixed up because it's 4 letters. I'm like, I'm like Utah, like Utah's way over there. I was like,
I would honestly rather live in Utah. It's way prettier there, and we just have corn. So just corn.
it's good for
No, but like,
Halloween.
right? Yeah, that's the only time it's cool. But that's like the thing. Like, so many people are like, okay, but well, I have this, but now what? Like now I'm educated and now do I get fucking clients? So I'm a big fan of just talking about hair loss, getting out there and communicating about it and like normalize it for your clients, which I know we've like kind of touched base on this plenty of time. Geriatric dog flopping around in the back. Uh, she's 15, dude. She's the oldest thing
I have a
ever.
16-year-old. My office is in the dining room now because of it. I was like, I'm gonna come up here because I'm gonna be talking.
Yup. But like it really is like the more we can destigmatize hair loss and the more we can make that conversation just a normal ass conversation instead of it being something that our clients or just like rando strangers are like afraid to bring up with us, the more we're going to get those clients. So it's just the basic kind of marketing, right? Like that, like no trust factor. But with hair loss, it lays heavy on the trust. So it's almost like the exact opposite where they have to trust you and then they have to like and know you. Like they kind of just barely care about those other two. So
Yeah.
that trust is formed by you just actually communicating, telling your story, telling someone else's stories, tell my clients' stories, tell any kind of stories that you can about hair loss, and just start talking about it openly and like on your feed. Start sharing about like what hair loss things are what. Start giving little tips and tricks to like how that hair loss can happen, what you can do to help prevent it. Even in like an extension side of things, because that's what your currently like biggest market is, right? So talk about hair shed. Talk about what a normal amount of hair shed in rows looks like versus an abnormal amount of hair shed, right? Like switch this over from being toppers and crowns to rows and start talking about hair loss there. Get that going where people are like, oh, she knows a lot about this. And then that transition into, oh, and by the way, if this gets so bad here that we can't put in those rows, guess what? I have something else. So it's like an easy transition and like a comfortable conversation segue as opposed to just being like, are you bald? I have something for you, you know? So, and I mean, that could work too. Like people with hair loss have senses of humor too. So like give it a go. But like you can make this applicable to what you're currently doing. And if anybody's listening to this and all you do is color, that's fine. Guess what? You still see people with hair on their heads and they still have hair loss. Statistically, 60% of women are experiencing some kind of hair loss before they're 60. That's over half. Okay. That's more than 1 out of 2 people that you know have already experienced hair loss in their whole life. Okay. It's not weird. It's not uncommon. The
Right.
exact opposite of that, really. So when we talk about it more, we open up that door for more people to be like, oh, yeah, that's happened to me. Oh, yeah, I also feel bald. Oh, yeah, this one time, all of this fell out. Like it becomes normal because currently it's not. And the thing that like immediately triggers for clients is, they brush their hair or they start running their fingers through to comb that conditioner in the shower and they come up with a hairball and immediately they're like, yeah, it's a panic response, right? You wanna switch that around. You wanna switch that, like, mental thing and switch your marketing so that when they get that, they immediately think, "I need to text Barbie." Not, "Oh, shit, I gotta bury that in the trash can so I don't see it anymore." Because my clients immediately I have random followers that aren't even clients, that when they start shedding more, they're just like, "Hey, is this normal? Haven't washed my hair in a week. Should I be concerned and talk to my stylist or is it cool?" So, and that's just all in my marketing. That's just because I talk about hair loss a lot. So it doesn't have to be all you talk about, but when you normalize the conversation, people are going to be more likely to do that. And it makes them easier clients. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're always going to be a topper client, right? A lot of the clients that I deal with or have hair loss come to my salon and they're not necessarily in a situation where they need a full piece. Sometimes, it's like, hey, actually, you'd be better fit for a row. Like, it's not that bad yet. Or like your thinning is here more so. We can hide that with rows actually more than we can with a topper.
Yeah.
Like hair loss isn't just toppers, crowns, things that go on top of the head.
Right.
Hair loss is everything, right? So just being able to open up that conversation again is going to be huge.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a client now who's like, I do her extensions. She looks good with extensions, but she's younger. She's continually having shed, and then as I do her hair, her rows grow out perfect. there's no issues there. But like the shampoo bowl, man, I'm cleaning and I'm cleaning and I'm like, I don't see that it's an issue, but I see what she's saying as far as shed. And
Yeah.
I'm like, there is that shed that happens with doing extensions. I get that. But like now I'm more of aware because she's talking about it. And it's like that's where I want to be able to, obviously visually it looks fine like you're saying, but she's young, so as she ages and sticks with me or whatever, she might be that client that needs that extra or that next level.
Well, and so let's just actually dive into this for a second. So, how has that conversation gone with you guys in the past? Do you bring it up and talk about it, or is it just kind of one of those like, yeah, you're right, there is some shed, and then you move on?
No, I've just started doing her, so it's not
Okay.
like, forever.
Yeah,
But
haven't been in a lot, but
she definitely has that question like, so how much is too much shed? Like,
okay.
and there's that everybody has shed every day as long as there's not
Right.
like clumps, and I have seen people at hair loss that obviously they must have been shedding for a while. But her visually everything looks good when she comes in. There's no like shed coming out as she's sitting in the chair or anything. It's just the removing of the extensions, we're shampooing it, noticing it in the sink. That's where I'm like, okay, I want to make sure, I hear her, I listen to her, and it doesn't seem anything like that we have to treat in any way.
So,
The extensions aren't causing it. It's not like she's
yeah.
having breakage there. It's not like there's any baldness under or over. It looks fine. There's no holes in her head or like seeing scalp. So like as far as I can tell, I don't know if that's her normal shed like before she ever came to me or if this is something current, with her stuff going on with her medication or whatever she's doing.
Fair.
So,
So usually for us, so say we have, a client that's new like that where you don't necessarily know if it's their current thing. I always 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 say hair loss is a symptom, not a diagnosis. If you're having excessive shed, if it's something that like there's handfuls of hair coming out and we're not
right,
in a situation where this is the first time you've washed your hair all week, right? Um, if it's one of those like, they wash every other day and they're still getting a lot of hair out, it doesn't
right,
necessarily have to be noticeable to be alarming, right? So I'm always telling people like, hey, I'm not a doctor. Like I always lead with that, obvious
right.
reasons, right? But hair loss is a symptom, not a diagnosis. So if this is something that has been going on for more than 6 months, I would 100% go to your doctor immediately. If this is something that you can think back on, and maybe like 4 to 6 months ago, you had like a big thing, like either a surgery or a life event
Right, right,
or
right.
like a stressor of some sort, then this is probably totally normal, nothing to see. If you're currently on any kind of regular medication, I would definitely just pop it into ChatGPT and see if hair loss is potentially a side effect of one of those medications. Totally fine if it is, but let's just monitor this. That would be when I would get my trichoscope out and be like, hey, you know what I think we're going to do today is take a little analysis of a couple spots on your head. I'm going to save those back so that we can do every couple months. And we can just kind of monitor and make sure this isn't getting significantly worse. The last thing I want to do is put it off until it's like, damn, you bald as hell, before you go to your doctor. So, and like little things like that always make people be like, "Oh, okay, it's a normal conversation, right?"
Yeah.
So instead of it being like, which actually in one of my classes last month, one of the girls in the classes, her name's Tyler. She's actually in this group. Tyler, if you're listening to this later, love you. But she said something in the class to everybody, and she's a cancer survivor, so she had lost all of her hair,
Mm,
she'd gone through that all on her own, and she told everybody, she's like, if there's one thing that I can tell everybody from, like, the client's perspective, we're not glass.
mhm.
And it seems so often that, like, us as a stylist and an empathetic person and, like, just loving, again, this is a very emotional thing, right? We try to almost, like, sugarcoat the experience for our client, because they've already been through so much, right? And it's out of the goodness of our heart. Like, we don't mean to do that maliciously, obviously, but the client themselves is like, "Oh my god, I'm not a pity case." So it's really wild when you kind of remove yourself from this whole like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry this is happening to you," kind of mentality. And it's not that that goes away, right? It's just not the primary concern. So your job
Mhm.
is to help them, not pity them. Those are different. And so when we can start having conversations with these guests in a helpful manner, but a normal manner, they feel more confident to share things with us. So, and I think those little reactions, like, I mean, you got a kick out of it, right? So,
Mm.
those kind of conversations, when you can have that to somebody, they're like, "Oh, yeah, cool, thanks," you know? And obviously read the room. There's gonna be some people with their foot up their ass that are just like not cool. But I don't have any of those clients because my marketing's just like not there, right? So it's like when you can just like talk like a friend to somebody, then they really do get it. And they're just like, "Oh my God, thank you so much." So for that client, next time I would really like, if she's still having shed, I would 100% just like have a little conversation with her. Be like, "Hey, just kind of keep an eye on this and think back. Nothing that you have to like report back to me, but if this is something that you feel like you're experiencing for more than 6 months or it's been kind of close, 100% recommend go to your doctor, get a full blood work panel done. You need thyroid levels, you need hormone levels. Make sure your iron and all your vitamins are being checked, especially your protein levels and your B vitamin levels, along with iron. Those are like the three huge ones. So just go have some blood work done, like worst case scenario, it all comes back great and we still don't really have an answer. Best case scenario, you take a vitamin and then this stops. So
Mm.
it's always something that I just kind of like lead into. Whether they do something with it or not, that's cool. But again, it places you as an authority in the conversation, and opens it up that if it does get worse, because I've had plenty of clients that do that, that I tell them, "Hey, you should probably get this looked at," and they're like, "No." And then, 6 months later, it keeps going, and we're at a year of shed, and they're like, "So this is pretty bad. Probably should have got it looked at when you said so, but I actually just got it looked at last week. Turns out I have no vitamins." And you're like, weird." So, there's definitely been huge things like that. Or somebody's like, "Yeah, turns out my testosterone is through the fucking roof." And you're like, "Wild. I think I said that." So again, it falls back to the whole like when you understand what causes hair loss, the people that come in and the patterns that they have, you can even be like, you should look into getting your thyroid checked. Like just depending on where the hair loss is, you can immediately determine usually what kind of system like situations they have going on systemically.
And where do you order? Do you have a refer is it an Amazon link for that trichoscope that you use
So I
or?
actually use the Malibu one. I love it. It works great. There are more expensive ones on the market, but Malibu Sea, they have like a scalp analysis kit. It's like $100. It Wi-Fi's to your phone. And I will literally give my client my phone while we're like doing it so that they can watch and it records, so that they can watch and they're fascinated by it. It's like their favorite fucking part of the appointment. They're just like, this is so cool. Or they'll be like, "Back up, what was that?" So, uh, it works great too if you have, somebody who, like, consistently gets, like, folliculitis, or anything like that. If you have, like, cancer survivors or cancel somebody that's battling cancer currently, you can kind of keep track of how that hair is growing back. Clients with, like, alopecia spots, they love that too because we like scope it and they can see all their baby hairs growing back while they're going through, PRP treatments or whatever they're doing with their clinician. I'm able to give them that little insight on how it's going. So that's another really cool thing
Mhm.
that you can do for your clients is just like give them tangible evidence that what they're doing is working or not working. Because I mean, just like us, putting out all this money and then never getting a return for it, in like an education standpoint, they're used to investing all this money in solutions that are great and then never work, right?
Mhm.
So the PRP, the minoxidil, the things that they're like, wow, this was supposed to be some kind of like kind of situation. And then it's like, it's not terrible, like, or they have such extreme rebound loss that it's almost worse and, whatever. So you can monitor that for them and just be like, hey, if it ever becomes something that you're uncomfortable with, hey, I'd love to help fit you with a topper, And honestly, for
Mhm.
my people that are in like active sheds, I love putting like a Velcro patch in the front
Mm.
and a halo band on their topper instead of having front clips.
Mm.
It's my like go-to thing because front clips are for the devil.
Yeah.
Those things just eat people's hair left and right.
Mm.
So, yeah, just a little, like, Velcro I literally get Velcro by, like, the roll, and it's just nude, and I cut 2 little patches and sew them to the sides so that it grips to their little baby hairs,
Mhm.
on the, like, the hook side, not the soft side.
Right.
Um, for
You
clarification.
never know. You never be like, "Hey, I tried that
I
thing."
tried Velcro and it did not work at all. We were like, "Are you using the crispy side or the smooth side?" Use the crispy side, guys, okay? The side that
The
goes
damn literal hairdressers. It's like
listen. Thing, okay? Like, I followed the instructions. The tism is tisming, okay? It do be like that. But yeah, just a little thing here and then an elastic. I get like elastic roll at like craft store and then just little beads, super simple and keeps it nice and snug down to the front. And then they can clip back here and it stays on fantastically
Nice.
without fucking up their hairline. And then they're like, "Hey, I have a bald spot." And you're like, "You sure do, Betty. You sure
Do they
fucking
fuck it up? Do
do."
they fuck it up removing it? Because you do have those Velcro claws, and I'm just thinking,
Thankfully, those like can't really do much. Like you pull those and they
gotcha.
just kind of like do one of these to your hair. Thank God. You know what can fuck your hair up though, and I have had happen. A client that we set her up with little clippy doos, and she had great density, and she comes in the first time and she got fucking bald as hell over here. I was like,
Does she
"What the
sleep in
hell?"
it?
No, she. So my stylist, it wasn't my client, it was one of my stylists. So she said she comes in for a color appointment and goes, "Okay," and just pulls the thing off. She comes in the back room and she was like, like, "What?" She was like, "She just ripped that fucking thing right off her head." I was like, "You're kidding me." She was like, "No, that's why she has a fucking bald spot."
Oh my
We
God.
had her take it off and put it on 3 times. Like when we do clip-in fittings, 3 times. Off, on, leave. That's the pattern, okay? And she said, "You know what? I don't need to do that." And just literally grabbed it by the scruff like a kitten and just pulled that shit right off her head. I have never shit my pants so fast in my entire life. I was like, "Hey, so stop doing that."
Did she stop doing that?
No. Um, she ended up going with a full wig because she was like, "Well, I don't want to take it off like that." And we're like, "There's 4 clips." Like literally the piece was like this big. It wasn't even large. Like she's like, "I'm just gonna get a
This
full
is
wig." We're like, "You know
why.
what? That's probably better for you."
This is why. I feel like I'm gonna get a client like her, and I'm gonna be like, "Look, Bree, finally got my first client. This bitch is ripping it
She
out
goes,
of her
"Oh,
head." I'm like,
listen,
I'm trying to be the authority, but what the hell? I need an exorcism in this.
dude, the amount of times where I'm like, I need Jesus. I need Jesus
Right, I
for this.
just
I can't
I need the whole family. Like I need the
call the
saints,
Lord.
the
Okay, I'm
relics,
not the
all of
one.
them.
No, we did a call a couple couple weeks back on it. That we had a girl not too long ago. When I did the consultation, I was like, "You are technically not a candidate for a topper. Okay, you have too much hair. So if you want to," she was like, "I've tried clip-in pieces. I've tried all the things. I hate them. I just want something I can wake up in." And I was like, "Okay." Well, if that's the case, then this is what you're going to have to do. And I dictated everything out. I was like, "It's going to be so much more work for you, yada, yada, yada." Right? She was like, "Bet. Can't wait." Plot twist. You're gonna be shocked. She didn't do a fucking thing. Her hair ratted up like a rat's nest underneath her piece. It looked like a thing. It took my stylist 5 hours to detangle it. I was like, "You're done." So yeah, I was like, Here's the options." I can sew clips to
No.
this, and you can take her with you, or we can take it off and keep it here. However, you paid good money for it and you only wore it for 4 weeks. So here's some clips. But what we won't be doing is reinstalling it because
You're
no.
fired.
Um, so was that unfortunate? Yes. But did she do it to herself? Also, yes. And it was one of those conversations that, sucked. And she literally um tried to call me at like I think it was like 8 a.m. And then when I didn't answer because I was like getting my kids ready for school and all that, she sends me a text, call me now. No.
It's
I
like
was
that
like,
song. Do you have any kids? I have one.
right. I was like, oh,
Oh God.
this is a no for me, dog. This is a no for
People be
me.
peopling so
People
bad.
be
That scared
peopling,
us.
okay?
Oh my God.
So we hard passed on that real fast, but that is a thing, right? And again, that falls back to the whole like sometimes people really like count on you to be their savior, and you're like, bold choice first, but no, no, thank you. So being able to discern that isn't easy sometimes. Sometimes people come across very sane, and then they do some crazy shit, and you're like, I beg your finest pardon. So, being able to throw that boundary up and be like, okay, whoa, remember all those things we talked about in our consultation and at our first appointment, and how I said if X, Y, or Z happens, we're going to have to A, B, and C. So X, Y, and Z happened, unfortunately. So we're going to have to actually implement X, Y, and Z. Um, and I'm just, again, really transparent and clear with clients that, like, hey, if at any point in time your hair does not get better from time to time to time that you're with me, we're shifting and changing and adjusting.
Right.
I will not be the reason that your hair gets more fucked up. I would rather you be pissed at me because I stop doing your hair and keep its integrity than keep doing your hair and fuck it up further. Period. So, that alone in your consultation, just saying that outright to your client, credit card. Like,
Mhm.
it's wild. And just being able to, like, communicate that in your marketing and things like that, like, "Hey, my primary concern is the health of your hair." It's wild how many clients or how many stylists are out here that literally just care about the service ticket.
Mhm.
So if you can just be that guy that doesn't see a client as a number, but sees them as someone who's just trying to get their hair a little better, you're immediately up. By just giving a shit, you've already won 80% of the clientele. So now you just have to put yourself out there and prove that you give a shit, and that's doing half of the job for you. What is my cat getting into?
We knock stuff off now because you're busy.
I think he's in a cabinet. I think he's in my Tupperware cabinet, just meandering about. He is one, not a cat. I don't know what he is.
I'm
He's in a
surprised
cat
he's not
suit.
he's not orange, right?
He's not orange,
That's what I'm
actually.
saying. Orange cats, man. Oof.
Those are definitely little demons in cat suits for sure. Like those are sent from the depths. This thing was raised on the streets and just we don't know, he found us and he's been weird ever since. So, but yeah, he just really likes cabinets. So I'm sure he's just meandering around in there. God only
Oh
knows.
God.
But basically, that's kind of the piece I wanted to come to today, and just the mindset around getting getting those clients in the first place, because it's hard to start. It's hard to start anything, right? Like it's hard to start fucking anything, but let alone something where you're trying to access like an entire different market, an entire different like aspect of everything. And honest to God, like just start yapping. Like, just start bringing things up and talking, like I said, about your story, about someone you love's story. Just share stories. Share something that's relatable to your guests. Have that empathy inside of things and show them that like healing's possible. Situations are fixable, and this is normal. And your people will literally just adore it.
Well, thank you, Bree.
You're welcome. Yeah, and if you have any like personal situation, questions, clients that do come across and you're like, how the fuck do I have this conversation with him or whatever? Like we've talked about, like whatever, I'm here. Like just reach out to me. Like, how do I how do I what with this? Just let me know. I'm here. I got you.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on your new space.
Thank you. I want to shit my pants. It
Uh,
really makes me want to throw up everywhere, but I am obsessed with it, and it's just gonna be a money pit for a while, but it's fine. I'm
yeah,
super stoked.
yeah. When are you thinking of it being ready?
January, end of January is when my contractor's like pretty
Quote, yeah,
certain. It's one of these.
yeah.
I have to start paying rent in February, so we're
Well, that's nice. That's
right in.
always the, yeah, it's always the stressful is that transition. Do you have double rent? Do you whatever?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Which I totally could, and I'll have, savings to be able to do so if I need to, for, like, February if I have to still have a crossover month or something, but he was like, "I can't imagine it would take any longer than February." I was like,
How many
"Well."
stations are you gonna do, or are you doing it for education too?
So we'll have 6 in the front and then 1 hair loss suite in the back to start off with. I'll have it wired for 8, but we're gonna start with 6 just so that I
Yeah.
can, yeah, not have to buy all the things right out the gate,
No,
but
I
not have
hear
a whole bunch
ya.
of empty chairs. But
No.
yeah, we'll be pretty much like full and ready to rumble right out the gate. So I'm
Yay.
super excited.
So
Yeah.
exciting.
This, yeah, it's in the stage right now where I still kind of want to throw up. But
Mm.
give it a couple more months and it'll probably be in the stage where I want to burn it down. And then by March, I'll be like, this is beautiful. I love it. I'm so glad I did this. So progress.
Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. And I know that right when you're about to throw up stage, you're like, I know something's big around the corner or through the door or whatever. And it's like, but you got to die. It's like you have to completely die of this version you've had
Yeah.
that you got used to, even though that was you too. And it's like you just keep growing and growing. So I don't know.
Well,
It's
and
fun to see you evolve.
oh, thank you so much. I have always said, like, and it's been for a few years now that I've been like, okay, this is on the horizon. I know it's something that I'll have to do eventually. We'll get to it when we get to it. And I've always just been like, you know what? When it's time, when it's the right
Hmm.
place, when it's mine, just give it to me and make it like a choice I can't
Yep.
say no to. Put it in my lap and I'll accept it.
Yeah.
And that's always just been my thing. And anytime I've ever had to like kind of force something, I'm like, nope, it's not mine. There we go.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
fine.
Yes. Yes.
Like,
Yes. Yeah.
that's all. So, and I kind of run my whole life that way. I'm like, hey, that's fine. Like,
Yeah.
you do you. That's fine. It ain't for me. Um, but this was one of those where it did. It just kind of like showed up. The website was just like, hey, here's his face, and I was like, well, that kind of be perfect. So I was like, well, I'll just book a tour, and I was able to get in right away. And there were like, I think he said 5 or 6 other applicants, and they were like, we loved everything about your marketing. Like I had to turn in all kinds of shit for the application. He was like, we'd love to have you in here. I was like, okay. This was on a whim. Uh, I did this last night at midnight, so I am actually not prepared at all to do any of this. He was like, "That's cool. Take your time." Okay. So yeah,
Wow.
it was just like, right, yeah, I guess we're doing this. So, and
Nice.
yeah, I was just like, "Yep,
And it
this is
gives
it."
it gives the space you're at time to find someone
Yeah.
that you weren't, because that's like where I'm at. I'm in a salon space above a salon,
Okay.
and the guy deeply depends on what I give him every month, and I'm like, dude, I don't know if I can. I don't know when the next. I'm like you. I'm like, I'm not exactly specifically looking for anything, but I was like, once I can get my head out of my ass with the hair loss and stuff, like I'm pretty sure the next step comes, and it's like I just don't want you being super dependent on me for 2 more years or like something
Yeah.
crazy. I want you to
Yeah.
know that my name's not on that contract, but you know, I don't know if I need to spread my wings even further. It's like who knows in this
Yeah.
industry.
For sure.
But yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, fingers crossed that your little thing just kind of tumbles in your direction too.
Not the crazy tumbles, not the Beetlejuice tumbles, but the
Not those kind. No.
All right, love. Thank you so much. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it.
Have a great rest of your Monday.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.